Hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night. Just I am joking. This is my next shooting. This is my next video recording, and this time I'm gonna tell you in a joyful, in a funny way my software programming learning adventures. Just I call it adventures because in such video shootings I'm not gonna tell you step by step programming languages as a tutorial manner. Just I will give some website addresses, and I will tell how did I with these websites and how I managed and how I hardly understood some steps of that programming languages. Let me say one thing. Actually, for the time being, I have learned a dozen of programming languages, especially some of them I liked very much, and I still trying to progress in those languages. But at the very beginning, first beginning, I started with C++ programming language. And just when I research my archive, just I found a notebook, in fact, and in that notebook, just I registered a date, January 2000. Yes, it's incredible. January 2000, and I started to learn C programming. That means more than 18 years ago, I started programming languages. And just I have a looked. I remembered the difficulties, especially pointer sections and object-oriented programming sections, and encapsulation, data encapsulation, inheritance concepts, and etc. Just I can say that. But at the end of C language tutorial, or C++, just I can say, I was very eager to create windows and to add buttons and other controlling points, controlling elements, just I can say. And in those years, I'm talking about 15 years, 18 years ago, those times, such utilities haven't been there in those times, and I was discouraged. And just when I have a look at the latest pages, just I tried to, how is it said? Try to create some forms and establish logical connection between these forms. Just I can say that it is visual C, some sort of visual C. And after that, I gave up learning language and forget it. And time passed, and many years have passed since those times, and I just wanted to be a novice in C++ learning, and I tried to find out suitable web pages, and I found www.cplus.com. Oops. when I encountered this C++.com, I use my when I encountered C++.com, I registered myself this web page. Okay, that was the website that I mentioned about C++. At these web pages, I started a tutorial, C++ tutorial, and step by step I tried to understand the syntax and other specifications of this programming language. Especially at the very beginning, I found it very easy because in conventional programming languages, the syntax begin with the declaration of variables and types, and after that constants and operators, basic input-output operators, and there comes program structure. Of course, there are some flow control components and functions and other templates. And just I say in classes chapter, the concepts of object-oriented programming starts. In fact, when I encountered this concept, just I hardly understood, but I preferred going step by step and starting with the very easy examples, and after that I had an idea about that. But just I must confess that when I encountered other programming languages, I found easier some concepts, especially in Ruby programming language. Object-oriented concepts are much more easier to understand. Just I can say in Kotlin also, and Python, it is much more easier to understand. And at the end, starting with files, input-output files, just I don't want to go step by step. At the very beginning I said that this is not a language learning video shooting. Just I want to share the difficulties that I encountered during my eagerness for software programming languages. Just I can once again mention that object-oriented polymorphism and encapsulation, these concepts were very difficult to understand, to comprehend at the first run. Let's go out these web pages, and I would like to start with another web pages. In fact, the second web page is www.sololearn.com. This is the web pages that I started in year 2018. In fact, in month October and November. Yes, October or November. I found out this web page, discovered this web page, and I registered myself here by using a profile. This funny thing. Just I want to remember why I preferred such a name, Can Kardeş Can. Of course, I've got Gmail accounts, but I prefer to using this Gmail account, and this SoloLearn.com web pages provide the user more than 10 programming languages. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. And this is the Windows desktop version. And if you use Apple Macintosh computer and tablets, there is another programming language called Kotlin. I found out when I was using my tablet, Apple Air tablet. In desktop version, there is no, in fact, Kotlin. When I look here, I cannot see Kotlin. And just I started as a very fresh beginner with C++. In fact, you see level 10 I reached, and more than 5K experience that I obtained when I tangling with these web pages. Just here, for example, C++ has got more than 5 million, 5.5, just I can say, learners, and it's about 80 lessons, and there are 324 quizzes, and let me say, I finished all these courses. In fact, yes, this is a reality. In 2 or 3 months of period, I completed these courses, and I've got certificates that proves that I completed these courses. Just I want to mention one thing. After I started refreshing or rebrushing, polishing my C++ knowledge, programming knowledge, just I hardly stopped myself to start another programming language. For example, I was very wondering about JavaScript programming language, and of course Java. But afterwards, just I found out that there is no relationship between Java and JavaScript. That was true in those days. This is not completely true that I said. There is no relationship between Java and JavaScript. In those days, this was true. And at the same time, simultaneously, I enrolled more than one programming languages. And almost at the end, I tried to Python and Kotlin, of course. Kotlin was the final one that I discovered when I using my Apple Air, just I mentioned just before. And this web page provides you to play a practice. It's called code playground. For example, just you say a new code and you new code, and you select your programming language and you start to write something, and it is up to you to make it public or to make it private. There are the guys that try to write down some codes, and after that there is a discussion tabulate, and this is the top learners section. Just look at these points. More than 600,000 XP, and of course here this is me, and Can Kardeş Can that represents me. I obtained more than 15 experiences. Let's say some sort of point, in fact, 15,202. That's the cumulative total of the points that I obtained while I going on learning this courses. Let's go back to courses, and for example, I would like to show you one. And this is the very beginning, and module 9 and quiz. Okay, this is the final steps of the courses, in fact. Yeah, this is the certificate. Yeah. I don't know this guy, why Myrin, but just this is the proof that I completed a Python course, just like the other courses. Thanks God, I reached at the very beginning page of that web page. Anyway, this utility is not very quick. Maybe it's my fault. I'm a novice. I'm a beginner to use this screen sharing utility. Just once again, I would like to mention, in 2 or 3 months I completed all these courses. Okay, C++, Java tutorial, JavaScript, and another C family, and PHP. Just I would like to share my impression. Oops. Okay, just I would like to share my impression about these programming languages. As I said, Instead of learning only one language at the same time, simultaneously, I preferred learning Java, Ruby, Swift, C++, and especially I was very particular about to go the same step with the other language. I mean, when I learn something for making loops or control loops, just I try to learn the same or similar things with the other programming language. Actually, this made easier to understand some difficult sections, some difficulties. Just I can say object-oriented concept became much more clear after I saw another language and its solution facility. Sorry, this recording was not so fluent manner, but please forgive me. This was the first shooting by sharing screens by means of this utility. Just I don't want to mention its brand name, but after recordings after recordings, I will try to be much more specific about menu levels and other trivia. In my next video recording, you will see, hopefully you will see Anaconda utility and its derivative spider utility, and IntelliJ PyCharm, and of course Eclipse. At the first recording I promised you Eclipse will be the next one, but just I found it very useful to mention C++.com adventure and of course SoloLearn.com, and hopefully just I can say it at my next video shooting I will mention the difficulties or the funny things that I encountered while I learn those programming languages. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your time. Just I can say bye bye. Thank you once again.